Hello, I'm Lieutenant Governor Boyd Rutherford, and it is my honor to bring you this message in recognition of Black History Month. Each year around this time, we hear a lot about famous Black Marylanders and the contribution they've made to our state and nation. Heroes like Harriet Tubman, Frederick Douglass, and Thurgood Marshall have undoubtedly shaped our nation and earned their place in our history books. But there are countless other ordinary Black Marylanders in our state's rich history that overcame incredible obstacles to do extraordinary things for the freedom and advancement of African Americans. Individuals like Gloria Richardson, for example, originally from Baltimore, she moved to Maryland's Eastern Shore, where she was a major figure in the fight for civil rights and a leader of the Cambridge movement, a civil rights struggle in Cambridge, Dorchester County in the early 1960s. Following her daughter's participation in the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, or SNCC, sit-ins, Richardson helped to organize and lead the Cambridge Nonviolent Action Committee, which was the first adult-led affiliate of the organization. The Cambridge movement began with Black Cambridge residents sitting in at segregated movie theaters, bowling alleys, and restaurants. And in 1963, Ms. Richardson was featured on the stage during the famous March on Washington. 100 years prior, Wiley H Bates was born into slavery in North Carolina. He later moved to Annapolis after the Civil War, where he became a successful businessman and community activist. A tireless education advocate, he purchased land to build the Wiley H Bates High School, the only high school that African American students in Anne Arundel County could attend until 1966. Or James Webb, born in 1820 as the son of two freed slaves, he purchased 31 acres of land in Caroline County in 1852 and later purchased his family's freedom. This was during a long depression in Caroline County that reduced property values, giving free Blacks like Webb an opportunity to own their own land. Due to the number of free and freed Blacks and Quaker residents in the county became a vital part of the Underground Railroad. It's even possible that the cabin Webb built on his land was used by slaves escaping bondage on the Underground Railroad, as it includes a pit below the floor that was typical for those used as hiding places by slaves. Today, the original cabin remains standing and largely unchanged from when it was built. It is believed to be the only remaining log cabin on the Eastern Shore built by a free Black man prior to the Civil War. Lastly, consider for a moment the incredible story of Smith Price. A former slave, Price went on to become a significant figure in the African American community in Anne Arundel County in the 19th century. After being freed from bondage, Price was able to acquire enough resources to purchase the land that would become the first community for people of color in the city of Annapolis. He also purchased the land for what is now Asbury United Methodist Church, the first for Black residents not only in Annapolis, but in all of Anne Arundel County. After his remains were exhumed during urban renewal in Annapolis in the 1980s, they were almost lost to time. Thankfully, they were rediscovered in Calvert County in 2019, and I was honored to have the opportunity to deliver keynote remarks at the repatriation and reburial. These are just a few of the many lesser known but equally important African American figures throughout Maryland's history. While they may have never received the widespread recognition that they deserve, they were nevertheless critical figures in Black Marylanders' fight for equality and opportunity. Their actions directly impacted their communities for the better, not only during their lifetime, but for generations to come, and teach us all a lesson about perseverance and determination in the face of adversity, and what can be achieved despite the obstacles set before us. After all, Maryland has a complicated history when it comes to the fight for civil rights. Ours was a divided state during the time of the Civil War, with many Marylanders fighting to maintain the inhuman system of slavery. It was not until November of 1864, nearly 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation, that slaves were freed in Maryland. So in order to truly live up to the ideals of our founding and continue building a more perfect union, we must be willing to confront our past, uncomfortable as it may be, and celebrate the brave men and women who work to ensure that those ideals apply to every American. To ignore such truth harms the work we must do as a nation and is insufficient to what our current moment in history requires. Thank you.